Hello. Hey everyone. Sorry, we're having some audio issues, but thank you for your patience. We're going to get started in just a minute, okay? Thank you so much. While we wait, if you want to drop where you're from, what city you're joining us in from, you're welcome to drop that in the chat. Okay, I see we have ATL. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Seattle, West Virginia, Chicago, Mexico. Hey, what's up? I'm from Chihuahua. Awesome. I live in Texas, so I live in Austin, Texas. So hello, Dallas. Florida. Awesome. All right. Welcome. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. So just want to go ahead and just welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here. My name is Alejandra Castillo, and I go by Alex. I'm the Senior Associate of Career Pathways for Tech at Dream.org. I will be getting us started today by going over our agenda. So currently I'm doing the introduction and agenda review, but soon after, we'll be going into our session objectives and mission. We will have some of our tech team members say hello and get to know them a little during introductions. Then we will be getting into the scholarship portion of the presentation with the overview and benefits. Right after, I'll be spending some time reviewing our eligibility requirements, qualities, tips, and the timeline for our scholarship. We will then hear from Emmanuel, who will take us into describing various scholarship use cases, pathways in sectors of energy, business, environment, transportation, and infrastructure. And he will also be presenting a very informative video about the climate tech space, like right after. Emmanuel will also highlight two of our featured tech accelerator partners, and we'll then introduce and hear from our special guest. Our special guest is the CEO of Green Jobs Network, Leonard Adler. You won't want to miss hearing about his expertise in this field. We appreciate you, Leonard, for sharing your knowledge today. We will then end with some time for Q&A, as we want to ensure we clarify or answer anything you may have for us. So don't forget to write down your questions, as we will have time in the end for those answers. Does that all sound great? Yeah, everybody ready? Awesome. Please be sure that you are muted during the presentation. We encourage that you have your camera on for engagement, if is possible. But all right, let's go ahead and get into it. So our objectives. The first one is really to get to know more about the scholarship fund, understand the application process, deadlines, and tips for strong application submissions. Our second objective is to discover high demand careers in the climate and sustainability sector. And third is to explore upskilling options like boot camps, accelerators, or certifications to enter or advance in these high demand industries. Awesome. Next slide, please. So a little bit about our tech background. So we were actually founded in 2014 after the Trayvon Martin murder. Our founders, Van Jones and the legendary Prince, were actually having a conversation. Prince asked, "Why is it that when a Black man wears a hoodie, he is considered a thug, but when a white man wears a hoodie, he is considered a tech genius?" Well, because of racism was the obvious answer, right? But Prince said, "Yeah, but also it's on us that we haven't produced enough Black Mark Zuckerbergs." So our mission is to break down barriers and provide underrepresented communities with the opportunities, trainings, and tools that they need to become trailblazers in evolving sectors like tech and climate. We are striving to establish diverse talent that will transform these sectors, fostering a culture of innovation, equity, and sustainability. Next slide, please. This is our small but mighty team that works to provide these opportunities. Kashif Wizard is our national director, aka our fearless leader. Then we have Michael Bernarding, who is our senior manager of tech entrepreneurship. You guys know me already, so I'll pass it over to Tasha and then to Emmanuel to introduce themselves. Tasha?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Tasha Lawrence, and I am the Special Projects Manager. I work with Alex to get information out and to help her oversee the scholarships. So good luck in completing those applications, and take notes to make sure you are submitting a great application this time. And I will pass it over to Emmanuel.
Hi guys, my name is Emmanuel. I'm a digital campaigner here at Dream.org Tech. So you'll see a lot of emails, texts, reminders from me. But yeah, happy to be here, happy to support, folks as they embark on these journeys for such, an important sector. So yeah, without further ado, I'll pass it back to you, Alex.
Awesome. Thank you, Em. So let's get into the scholarship portion of the hour and provide an overview of it and point some of the benefits. Now, Dream.org's Climate Career Pathways Scholarship Fund was made to empower untapped talent to enter the climate and sustainability landscape. This is all climate-based jobs, not just climate tech, which includes many sectors like energy, business, environment, transportation, and infrastructure. It can range from renewable energy techs to environmental lawyers, from clean car engineers to green building professionals. We seek to elevate people from diverse backgrounds and position them for employment opportunities, shaping a more inclusive future, but also working to reduce negative environmental impacts that have disproportionately affected communities of color. Next slide, please. Now the benefits. So, taking advantage of this opportunity. If awarded, we are providing $3,500 to help you in your career. That's $3,500. That's a really good amount and could possibly help with a couple of courses or certifications. Now, if awarded and you complete your course or certification, you now have a specific skill set that sets you apart from others. It gives you the opportunity to keep advancing in your career. Now, this opportunity is here to help industries be more diverse and inclusive. We want to make sure you are represented and inspired, but also help represent and inspire the next generation. Now, once you are a dreamer, you're always a dreamer. You will be a part of our extended family, where we will provide you with continued resources and support. Now, if awarded you and you complete your course or certification, you will open up more high-demand industry opportunities as well. Awesome. Now that's it for the benefits. Let's go to the next slide, please. Now you may be asking who the scholarship can support, and those applicants are: in pursuit of a qualified climate sector certification, college degree, or within 6 months of the award; applicants who are enrolled in a qualified climate sector certification, college degree, or other; or those who have completed a qualified climate sector certification, college degree, or in another or other in the last year. Next slide, please. Now, what course, certification, or training qualifies? So it should be offered by an accredited academic institution, such as a technical training program, community college, or a 4-year university, or an accredited organization that is acknowledged as best in class. Now, I do want to note here that if you are selected, you will need to provide proof of the course, certification, or training that you will either be taking, currently in, or have completed. If you are not sure it qualifies, you can always email me to make sure. Now, next slide, please. So who's eligible to apply? So anyone over the age of 18 who is climate and sustainability focused, interested in going into the space or already in it, but furthering their education. While all are encouraged to apply, priority will be given to underrepresented individuals, particularly members of Black, Latinx, Native American, and Native Alaskan communities. Next slide, please. Now, tips for your application. This is vital for your application to stand out, so please do your research. Explore various training programs, universities, climate accelerators. Compare the options and choose the one that best aligns with your career goals and interests. We have a couple listed here that could assist you on your journey, but no worries about capturing all of this information. We actually will be sharing all of this, all of what was covered today in a follow-up email, all right? Now, for your short answer portion of the application, please be sure to really deep dive into showing your passions for the climate and sustainability sector. Share any strengths and weaknesses, as well as any leadership and communication skills about your career journey. Show us your focus. I want to do X and Y in the climate and sustainability sector because of Z. Please share your story, journey, and how this scholarship can help you and your community. How will you give back? You have up to 200 words for your short answer, which is about 3 to 5 paragraphs. And this is the most important part of the application, so make it count. Next slide, please. Now, don't just stop after applying with us, continue looking for other scholarship opportunities. The list provided here is great. It even breaks it down, by scholarships for LGBTQ plus community, minorities, those with disabilities, etc. It's a really great resource. Now, if you haven't applied yet to our scholarship program, please do so as soon as possible. The deadline is October 6th, and it's fast approaching. Now, please stay informed on all things dream.org by following us on the socials and making sure you are signed up to receive our newsletter. We also have a community Slack you can join as well. Now, dream.org has 2 other initiatives, which are Justice and Green for All. We work on criminal reform and environmental green initiatives if you guys are interested. We don't want you to miss out on other opportunities as well. Now, feel free to contact me with any questions. They don't have to be specific to the scholarship fund either. We want to be a resource for any of the initiatives you may want to be a part of. And we're here to help and can point you in the right direction. Next slide, please. Now, this is our timeline. So this is our second info session. So thank you once again for attending. The application deadline is October 6th. We will then start our selection process and then notify everyone of the results in October and November. If selected, then you can expect to receive your funds via direct deposit in November, December. All right, well, now we will be hearing from our digital organizer, Emmanuel, who will take us into our scholarship use cases. Take it away, Emmanuel.
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So I'll actually start with, because I think it'd make more sense to start here with, the primary use case, I think, is for climate tech or climate and sustainability accelerators. So there are 2 major players in this field, Climate-Based and Terra.do. And they're both along the lines, they're both fairly similar in the sense that they are 12-week fellowship programs really meant for you to explore the space and see where your skills might fit best. So, we're going to get into a video a little bit later, which will kind of explain just the field of climate and sustainability and climate tech. But more specifically, it'll explain how vast this area is because so many sectors are touched by it. So with Climate-Based and Terra.do, so you have a 12-week program focused on climate education. You're also going to be building a community by connecting with a lot of individuals, a lot of professionals within this space. You'll be able to ask them questions and really learn from them. Because the goal for that is not necessarily, a particular job or, a particular certification, but to really help you understand what all of your options are right? So if you're passionate about climate sustainability, you want to work in the space, you'll have a much better idea of, how you might leverage your existing skill set or maybe build a new one in order to get a job or start working towards a job in the certifications to land a job in the industry. So going back, we'll talk about some of the different roles within climate and sustainability, the roles that we found, to be relatively low barrier to entry, although there are some exceptions on this list. And I would start by saying, the energy auditor or energy kind of manager space is one of relatively the easiest to kind of get a foothold in. Now, I don't recommend starting out applying as an energy auditor, but you can definitely start out as a technician and use that experience to leverage yourself into an energy auditor role, in which case you can then, use that to become a senior energy auditor and then an energy manager or managing a facility's energy. But anyways, what is an energy auditor? They make recommendations for energy saving improvements. They help organizations and households reduce their energy consumption and carbon footprint. So this can involve, tasks like conducting energy assessments, analyzing energy usage data, and making recommendations for energy saving improvements. In order to become one, you'll typically need specialized training through certification programs, certificate programs offered by trade schools, community colleges, and online education providers. So you're going to find that for a lot of these jobs we're going to talk about, you'll have local options too. A lot of these are in the trades. And so definitely, there's stuff like Terra.do, climate-based, but if you pick a direction, you have an idea of where you want to go, check to see what's offered to you locally. You might be surprised. Some popular organizations that offer energy auditor certifications or adjacent include the Building Performance Institute, and the Association of Energy Engineers. Moving on, energy efficiency technicians, they help organizations, so kind of similar to the energy auditor, but a more technical role. And they help organizations reduce their households reduce their energy consumption and carbon footprint by installing and maintaining energy saving systems and equipment. So this can involve tasks such as upgrading insulation, upgrading lighting systems, installing energy efficient appliances. On the more technical side, you can get into some really expensive equipment that folks, need somebody to install in their houses. Systems that cool their homes through those pipes under the floors. So think kind of just that type of work. In order to become one, you'll typically need to obtain specialized certification. That was such a loud lightning strike. Wow. Sorry. You'll typically need to obtain specialized training through certificate programs offered by trade schools, community colleges, online education providers, and the same thing, the BPI or Building Performance Institute and the Association of Energy Engineers offer highly accredited certifications to get a foothold or advance a career on this in this career path. Sustainability consultants also a solid career choice, and the primary role of a sustainability consultant is to help companies optimize their operations and strategies to be more environmentally friendly and socially responsible. So this can involve tasks such as pitching sustainability strategy to new clients, presenting findings to clients with sustainable solutions, assisting with the implementation of changes towards sustainability, and following up with clients during and after transition. In order to be one, you'll typically need to have a bachelor's degree and have experience in a related field. As far as institutes that provide accredited certifications to help you get here, the International Society of Sustainability Professionals, or the ISSP, offer a Sustainability Associate certification and a Certified Sustainability Professional certification, which are both fairly accredited for the purposes of becoming a sustainability consultant. Moving on, we have the EV, our infrastructure specialist. And so, as you can imagine, one of the biggest challenges in getting folks, just the public to adopt electric vehicles is there's not a million charging stations everywhere. There's a gas station in every other corner, right? And so a big part of a lot of this money that's coming out on behalf of the government too is specifically to develop this infrastructure and make it easier and more practical for folks to own an electric vehicle in hopes that they'll make that transition. As such, they're going to need technicians and specialists to work on these platforms and actually build them and maintain them. You'll oversee the installation and maintenance and troubleshooting of EV charging stations, planning, installing this infrastructure, maintaining, troubleshooting the systems, and collaborating with city planners and electrical engineers to get this stuff built. To be one, you'll typically need to pursue specialized training through certificate. I have trouble with that word. Certificate programs offered by trade schools, community colleges. Remember, check local. And the bottom of this is cut off, so we're gonna read here. Key organizations offering certifications related to this field include the Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Training Program and the National Electrical Contractors Association. Moving on, of course, we need climate change analysts. This is definitely a more technical role, but climate change analysts conduct research and analysis on climate phenomena and model how these changes affect ecosystems and human societies. Their work is crucial in informing policy and planning decisions to ensure a sustainable future. So as you imagine, this is basically a data analyst role. One of the cool things about this here too is adjacent data analyst certifications can help in the pursuit of this role. So Google, for example, offers a really excellent data analytics course that offers, practical hands-on training, and it's relatively cheap. I believe it's about $40 a month, but they do offer financial aid options. So that's an example of a certification you might want to pursue if this is a career path, if you have a knack for for analyzing data, and you're already aligned with a data analyst career path. That might be a certification that you pursue. However, to become a climate change analyst, you'll typically need a degree or certification in environmental science, climate studies, data science, or related fields. And again, these can be obtained through universities, online platforms, specialized institutions, community colleges, and the like. However, when it comes to specifically climate change analysts, organizations that offer relevant certifications include the American Meteorological Society and the National Environmental Health Association. Last but not least, so of course, as as a lot of these climate tech, and we'll watch the video, which will paint a better picture of what exactly or how vast this field is. But the fact of the matter is we're still going to need UX designers. We're still going to need data analysts. We're still going to need web developers. We're still going to need software engineers to develop the platforms of the future that will make this make our world more sustainable, right? And so companies that focus on reducing emissions, for example, will need people to build their websites. They're going to need people to analyze user data and the like. And so we are also pushing for, folks to leverage this scholarship to look for more traditional roles and traditional upskilling, but within climate tech companies. And so we actually have a really extensive resource guide, which I will share later on in this meeting, which has a lot of that information about the different career paths, the most popular career paths within the tech space, different salaries that you can expect commensurate with experience, job growth projections from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics, and most importantly, different courses that you might use, such as the Odin Project if you want to become a web developer, different starting points for folks, and then additionally tips to advance your careers after obtaining those certifications. So help beyond just you take the course, now what? Okay, let's build your resume, let's get you a portfolio, let's start applying for these jobs. So, you can definitely, we just covered three primary options, right? You have climate-based terror.do. Let's say you don't know where to start at all. You can apply for the scholarship, obtain the funds to take those 12-week fellowship programs, explore the climate tech space really in depth, and then figure out where you want to go. Or you can do the research yourself. And maybe perhaps you have a degree already, or you have an idea of the direction that you want to go. Then you can apply for that scholarship. And you can tell us what certification you want to pursue and how that's going to help you get from point A to point B. Or you can pursue a more traditional kind of tech role within the climate tech space. So UX design, data analytics, web development, and use the scholarship to obtain those certifications, obtain that upskilling so that you can apply for roles with climate and sustainability companies. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and get into this video, which kind of goes over climate tech. But my audio share doesn't seem to be working. So Alex, it's okay if I hand it off to you to screen share for you to play the video?
Yeah, let's go ahead and try.
Sweet. Do you have permissions to screen share?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay, sorry.
What is climate tech? The term climate tech has recently surged in popularity, especially among investors. But what exactly does it mean? If you're thinking that many different technologies can help solve the climate crisis, you're right. In fact, that's kind of the point. The term climate tech refers to any technology that has the potential to address climate change. That could mean stopping the problem by reducing or removing greenhouse gas emissions, or it could mean helping people and the planet adapt to the most harmful impacts. Climate change affects everything and everyone. So climate tech spans many different industries across all sectors of the economy. Climate tech includes innovation in the way that electricity is generated, distributed, stored, and used. It includes innovation in transportation, like better batteries and fuels, as well as the vehicles that run on those power sources, like buses, trains, cars, trucks, ships, and planes, plus the transportation infrastructure that keeps everything running. It includes innovation in buildings, like efficiencies in heating and cooling, as well as technologies for sustainable construction and for managing buildings after they're built. It includes new ways to reduce emissions from materials like steel, concrete, and plastics, as well as ways to make factories and supply chains more efficient. It includes innovation in food and agricultural systems, from the farm to the prep, to the plate, to the compost bin. Climate tech also includes the capture and storage of greenhouse gases through human-engineered processes or human-assisted natural processes, plus the use of captured carbon in high-value materials. And climate tech includes information technologies that collect, store, and display data about how people and systems contribute to climate change, as well as how they're affected by it, plus technologies that analyze the data to reduce risk. Climate tech can be physical technologies, digital technologies, or even some combination of the two. As you can see, there are many, many technologies that fall under the climate tech umbrella. This is a distinction from the last wave of investment in environmental technologies in the early 2000s. Back then, the more commonly used term was clean tech, and the focus was more narrowly on energy and electricity. There are many factors that make the current growth of climate tech uniquely exciting. But one of the biggest ones is that so many people are so passionate about stopping climate change. The climate is already changing, and we can feel it. Activists are making their voices heard. Governments are passing climate-friendly policies. Businesses and financiers are trying to help more than they harm. and individuals are willing to change their actions or even their careers to have more of an impact. All of these players can be part of the climate tech ecosystem by building technologies, investing in companies, buying products, supporting solutions, or even sharing constructive criticism. This level of collective participation is essential to ensure that the change happens not just quickly, but also justly, with vulnerable groups partaking in the design of a low-emission world and the prosperity it will entail. It's also important not only to develop new technologies, but also to pave the way for them to be used and implemented at a large scale, which can be a much harder challenge. To address the climate crisis, we need to make a lot of changes. These changes are exciting, but they can also be very complex and difficult. Just like with any sort of progress, technology isn't the only way forward, but it can play a helpful role in the transition.
All right, and I'll pass it back to you, Ann.
Awesome. Yeah. Sorry. So yeah, as you know, you can see there's a ton of opportunity within this space, and a lot of different ways that you would be able to fit in, even if you didn't necessarily think that your role or maybe the industry that you're currently in is somehow connected and tied into climate and sustainability in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, to follow up on what I said earlier, I'll drop the link to the resource guide here, which will cover really in depth the kind of traditional tech pathways within the. Sorry, I'm trying to send this to the group chat here. Can everybody see that link? Sweet. Yeah, so that's the link to our resource guide. That'll go in depth into the more traditional tech pathways and the different courses, certifications that you might be interested in pursuing to help you get there. But without further ado, I definitely want to pass it to my buddy, Leonard, here to talk about just the extraordinary work that he does with Green Jobs Network. And yeah, I'll hand it off to you.
Great, thank you. I'm going to just get the slides up here in a moment. Great. So I only have a couple minutes, so I'm going to get through some information quick and condensed, and there'll be lots of ways for people to follow up more. Before getting started, I just want to say a couple things. I'm really excited to be with you all. Thank you all for taking the time out of your busy day to be here. And I want to thank dream.org for the opportunity as well to share some information with you. I also want to acknowledge and really recognize dream.org for offering this scholarship program. I myself understand the importance and power of financial assistance programs for education. I actually grew up in a low-income household. We were in poverty on food stamps, and financial assistance is what enabled me. Sorry. And financial assistance is what enabled me to go to college and really opened up career pathways for me that enabled me to really have a better life. So again, I think it's great that dream.org is offering this scholarship program, and it's really kudos to all of you who are on this call to kind of be aware of this opportunity. So I'm really just going to cover a couple of points. I'm kind of getting through the introduction here. And then just briefly from the mission standpoint, so Green Jobs Network, I've run this for about 15 years, and its mission is really to connect people with jobs, career resources, and community if you want to use your talents and skills and interests for social or environmental impact. So that's a really high level. And then really before getting started into kind of nuts and bolts, there's really two themes I want to leave you with. One is really being optimistic and realistic if you're interested in careers in this space. And this really builds on what Emmanuel covered. I thought the content he provided was excellent. So really just going to make a point or two. I mentioned I've been doing this work for 15 years. And so a point I would say in this chart is just one small illustration of, as a job seeker, I think you are wise to position yourself in a field that's growing at a macro level. And so when I describe this as optimistic, you can look at different aspects of climate tech, clean energy, and you can see, charts like this where there's really growth in that. So to position yourself in a growing field, again, is smart. The realistic part is just to say that, the field is growing, doesn't mean that you apply for one job, you get a job offer that afternoon. But big picture, again, there's an optimistic picture, I think, to paint. And the second thing is also to reinforce something Emmanuel mentioned, which is that there's a place for you in this space, whether you're interested in kind of things regarding the trades, you're a graphic designer, you have interested in the law, there's a place for you in this space. And so, and I see job listings every day. They cover a very wide variety of skill sets and interest areas. So really just want to reinforce that. So, so now let's actually dive in. Really the harder one I want to cover here in about maybe 3 or 4 minutes is really practical ways that Green Jobs Network can help you in the context of this scholarship opportunity. And so there's really just 2 or 3 points I want to touch upon, which is Green Jobs Network can help you identify jobs if you're in a place where you might be exploring, what areas are growing, what areas are hot. There's ways that Green Jobs Network can help you uncover some of that, and then also help connect you to some education and training. And again, there's some great ones that have already been mentioned. So kind of without further ado, so this is an example. So there's lots of different reports that have been coming out, and there's more every day that highlight, they both document jobs broadly speaking within climate, big picture, and then drill down to more specific at the occupational level, things being looked at nationally, things that are being looked at more at a local level. And so Green Jobs Network, we're trying to do our best to compile all these reports so you don't have to go hunt them down, so that you can kind of more quickly identify some of these trends. So this is just one example, right? There's a national solar job census. So this illustrates what the growths look like, and then even specific subsections within that. That's one quick illustration. This is a report from the state of Massachusetts where they did a kind of a workforce analysis. And here they have a chart from a job seeker standpoint. This is really helpful, which is highest growth occupation. So the point of this is to help you understand where are job opportunities both today, because obviously Green Jobs Network runs job boards, but also where are there things going forward to the extent you're trying to position yourself and understand where I might want to use this scholarship, where might I want to get education and training. So this is just kind of a quick example. This is another one from that report highlighting supply demand within within the HVAC area. Reports like this sometimes will also include resources such as training programs for these areas. Where can you get training to tap into these growing demand fields? So it's kind of an example. Another resource, this was actually just launched this morning, so you're among the first people to know about it. So there's a map now that we've just launched a Green Jobs Network that lets you identify opportunity, basically where is there new money going? Because a lot of times I tell job seekers, if you want to know where the jobs are, follow the money. And as you've kind of seen in the news, private investment, public investment, a lot is going into this space. So the question is, well, the money's going there, where are the jobs as kind of coming behind it? And so this map lets you identify, and this is just within, broadly speaking, clean energy, battery storage, and EV manufacturing. So all these announcements, new plant and under development and so forth, this lets you search from 450 of these with combined 160 billion investments. You can search by location, by type of area, solar, wind, and so forth, and then by number of jobs. So that you can get that at Green Jobs Network. And then a last thing or two, we have some AI tools to help you write a cover letter if you're applying for a job. But practically for this, if you're kind of doing, let's say, a shift and you say, I have a lot of skills in marketing, how might that translate to climate? There's a tool as part of the suite here where you can basically type in a skill set and it will generate job ideas within climate that potentially you can then take into account as you're thinking about how to position yourself. So that's kind of on identifying really job opportunities today and going forward where things are growing. Then the other piece briefly that speaks to the scholarship opportunity is helping you learn more about education and training opportunities. So is a quick example of a resource you can find through the site. Trish Kenlin, she does great work in this space. So she's written a very informative article about different sustainability certifications. Emmanuel went over a lot of them. There's even more of them. And so again, this is an example of a resource where you can understand, okay, what does a lead AP do? What are all these other certifications to learn more about it to help you decide how you want to position yourself and potentially how to use this, apply for the scholarship. And then the last thing too is in terms of finding additional courses, again, lots of resources for where you can go get your training. This is just one example of a resource that's on the site. They have lots of courses. You can do all this remotely to help you in terms of getting education and training within climate. And then in terms of staying current with developments, whether that's job fairs that are taking place, new developments in the space, actual jobs, Green Jobs Network runs. We publish newsletters, blogs, job boards, a lot of different things. So really the simplest way to kind of be on top of a lot of the resources I went over, you can just go to the homepage at greenjobs.net, but also on the climatechange.com website, there's a specific section we've been building out called the Climate Career Hub that has links to all the things I just went over. Those different reports regarding, industry trends, the climate jobs map, they're all there, all free for you to go to the site and take a look at. So with that, I want to say thank you again very much for your time. And obviously I'll be around as the session goes forward, and I'll pass it back to Alex.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Leonard. Want to go ahead and just say, how appreciative we are of you. This is really, really great information that you shared. So really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I want to take some time now to, go into our Q&A session. If you have any questions, you can definitely drop it in the chat if you'd like, or if you'd like to come off mute. And it could be a question for myself, Emmanuel, or even Leonard. All right.
Cool. Sonia has their hand raised.
Yeah, go ahead, Sonia.
Yeah. Hi everyone. My name is Sonia Anand. Is there any returnship program for in climate space? Because I'm having career gap. I'm returning in climate space after 12 years of my career gap. I'm Erasmus Mundus scholarship holder, but still I'm not getting any opportunity in the climate space, and I'm going for climate-based fellowship with scholarship. So is there any returnship programs available in USA where I can apply and I can get job opportunity?
Yes, definitely. One of our partners is Terra.do, and they have an extensive job network, as well as the other one that Emmanuel mentioned was climate-based. I sign up for their newsletters, and they send jobs like almost every week. So I definitely encourage you to sign up for either one of those. And if we hear from anybody that is a partner of ours and wants to hire Dream.org alumni, they usually email us.
Okay. So
is
there any age for applying these scholarship? Because I would like to go for some certifications as well. So is there any particular age for applying these scholarship which you are offering?
No, actually, yeah. For our scholarship fund, it's 18 and up. There's no cap or anything like that. So as long as you're 18.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right, I see Tiara. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you. Sorry, I have a sinus infection, so I may be kind of hard to hear right now. But my name's Tiara, and I just had a question. I come from journalism background, broadcast, which involves a little bit of research, but I've also done some advocacy with Dream.org for climate. But I do have some knowledge gaps. But just thinking about if I did do a career shift, using the scholarship just to fill those gaps and further my education, just wondering if off the rip you all had any ideas of those transferable skills and how they would really be applicable to assisting.
Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as transferable skills, Emmanuel and I have been doing a lot of research in this. So if you do have say you said you have journalism and background, is that right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome. And then advocacy. So yeah, no, that's perfect. You have that passion. So definitely lots of transferable skills there. And Emmanuel, if you wanted to add anything to that, you're welcome to.
Yeah, definitely, there are a lot of opportunities for folks with your experience, I think, in the nonprofit space, especially in digital communications. Little bias there because I'm speaking as one of them. But two, I think this is also maybe a good opportunity, Leonard, if you're, to plug your Robin AI climate career coach. Sounds like, more or less an ideal use case. have these transferable skills, but maybe are not necessarily, you know where to start. Leonard, would you like to speak more to your platform there?
Sure, and maybe so I think briefly, so Green Jobs Network has mentioned at climatejobs.ai, there's a kind of an AI-powered career coach you can ask questions. There's no charge to that. There's also professional career coaches that you can find links to those through the website as well. And they provide obviously great expertise to help people in all kinds of career, whether starting out exploring or transitioning. But what I would say, again, just to reinforce the points that are mentioned, skills regarding writing, communication, storytelling, those are very valuable skills, no doubt. And whether you look at, let's say, a climate startup, again, this was mentioned in the presentation, look at some of their jobs, they may have key roles on marketing. Same thing with environmental nonprofits. And also there is, there is environmental journalism as well, whether there's freestanding publications that where potentially that skill set would be directly applicable as well. So just want to encourage that those skills are valuable within the space.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Awesome. There was 2 questions in the chat. So one from Erin. She was asking if are the resources Leonard went through available on your website or the resource guide above? Yeah, we'll make sure that we add this information to the resource guide. We will definitely be emailing everything out that we covered today, and the resource guide will be a part of that. Emmanuel, you're welcome to drop the link one more time. If guys, want to have it, right away, but, just know that we will be emailing out this information. The second question is the scholarship only open to US citizens, or can you be a permanent legal resident? So right now it is just for citizens, but we look to hopefully open it up, to legal residents for next cycle. It's all, just tax purposes. But yeah, definitely be on the lookout for our next cycle for sure. Awesome. All right. Any other questions? I see Ken. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, thank you all so much for the great information section. My name's Ken, a recent grad studying environmental studies. I'm just curious, this is for Leonard in particular, but also for everyone. Have you guys, in your past experience, kind of identify a certain of a pattern of recruiting in the climate space? I know that for bigger companies, they have recruitment cycles, usually starting in the fall, the springs for interns. So I'm wondering whether if there is similar kind of arrangement in the climate space, and also I know for nonprofit, a lot of them are fund specific. So depending on whether they get grant money or not, I wonder if you guys have figured out certain pattern of the year is best to apply and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I was on mute. What I would say is the sooner when you see a job apply, would be the thing I would say is, again, also when we're talking about climate, we're talking about something very, very broad. So I'm a little reticent to make a generalization, but what I would say is I don't think there's a specific unique pattern to things in climate that would be different than other sectors. Like I've seen job postings in December, when one might think it might be quieter, as well as when, you think it'd be a very active time of the year. And sometimes I will see jobs that have a very tight open close date. It might be as tight as 2 weeks, for example. So, a lot of jobs they'll be rolling as well. So you can kind of apply until they take the job down. But generally what I would suggest is the sooner you can apply, the better, because if an employer is posting something, more often than not, there's a specific kind of need that they're trying to fill. So I think that probably the single best tip I can just give you in this context would be, as soon as you see something, get the application in.
Awesome, thank you.
Great. Any other questions? Awesome. All right. Well, if questions do come up, of course, you guys are welcome to email me. I'm gonna, here's a slide back up. My email address is here. Feel free to jot that down. And again, we're here to help with anything. So, we'll point you in the right direction. And yeah, be sure to, let me know what cycle you're applying for, anything like that. And we can definitely help. But I'm just going to leave the slide up for a little bit so you guys can jot down my email. I'll also put it in the chat as well. That way it's easier to copy. But it's alejandra@dream.org. I'll put it in the chat there. Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Tasha. All right. And honestly, I just want to say thank you guys for attending today. We have one last thing to ask, which I'll pass it over to Emmanuel. It's a small survey. All right.
Yes, please, if you have the time, pull out your phone, scan the QR code. Also drop the direct link to the survey in our chat. But this helps us, improve our events. And so if you could take a second to give us your feedback, that would be great. Actually, let me grab that too. Oh, it looks like folks are having issues with the survey. Let me go ahead and see. We'll also send the survey out through the post-event email too. Okay. So here's that link. Should be working now. I'll share my screen as well. Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'll be sure to connect with you, Sonia.
Awesome.
Thank you all. Yeah, I can. Give me 1 second. So the link actually will be in our resource guide. Click this link to join our Zoom, our Slack channel. Cool. Well, definitely don't hesitate to reach out or join our Slack and send us questions if you have it. But with that, we are done for the day. Thank you all so much, guys, for your time.
Yes, thank you all so much. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Leonard.
Mm.